Welcome to our first extra. I'm Nichelle Poston along with Mark Eichman and Shirley Min. Our focus for this program is on higher education.
We'll talk to the president of Delaware State University about the focus of global partnerships and how he wants that focus to shape the future of Delaware's historically black university.
The cost of college will be the topic for Mark Brainerd at Delaware Technical and Community College.
At Wilmington University, there is a focus on an education for returning veterans and their families. This edition of First Extra, your public media news magazine, starts now. Last month, Delaware State University released what it called their 20-year master plan. It calls for short-term building programs that will take place now, all the way up to building projected for the next decade. Research in science and technology will be a big part of that growth. It has been a focus of the university for several years now. We sat down with DSU President Dr. Harry Williams in Dover for a discussion on how this historically black college will continue to compete in a global world. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Williams. Let's start with the state of higher education here in Delaware. Tell me a little about that.
Well, I'll tell you, here at Delaware State, we are actually going through an amazing transformation. It's pretty good in a positive way. The state of higher ed across the country is in a pretty rough spot. We've been fortunate and very blessed to have a governor and a state legislature that's been very responsive and supportive of higher education in the state of Delaware. 2 years ago, 47 states cut higher ed. Delaware did not. So we didn't see a significant increase, but we didn't get cut. And that's important during this really difficult time that we've been experiencing in this country. So here at Delaware State, we have seen a growth in enrollment. We have, when I started here 4 years ago, I've been here. I've been president 4 years. I can't believe it, but it's hard to believe. We had enrollment about 3,600 students. Today we have over 4,500 students, and that's significant, and that's very positive. And the university is really thriving in a very, very, very positive way.
Let's talk about numerous predictions lately about jobs of the future. They'll pretty much rely on the STEM background. What are you guys doing here to prepare? Yeah,
if you look at Delaware State's history, we are an 1890 land-grant university, meaning that our mission and our focus centers around preparing students for jobs that will require some skills and some positive skills in the area of science and technology. So we have a strong base here for science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. And we attract students for that. Believe it or not, we have 52 degree programs here at the institution, 25 graduate programs at the institution. 5 of those graduate programs are doctorate programs. 4 PhDs. We have a PhD in neuroscience, a PhD in applied mathematics, a PhD in chemistry, and a PhD in optics. And those are all STEM-based programs. And so we're preparing our students for those jobs that we haven't even thought about. I mean, the jobs of the future, I mean, jobs you haven't even, they're moving so fast. You gotta, so we get the environment. We got the state just provided us with funding to build a brand new science building, so optics building on campus, and we will have that completed in about a year and a half, and that fits right into the STEM area for the institution.
You know, the historical black colleges and university, they've received quite a great deal of scrutiny. What's your response to that?
I think about that, and it's all about perceptions. People talk about HBCUs, whether or not they're relevant, and it's just when I hear that question, I say to myself, HBCU, what does it stand for? Historically Black College University, meaning that's our history, and you have to know your history. In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you come from. So you can't abandon your history. You can't throw it aside. Just like Notre Dame. Take Notre Dame for an example. They started out as a Catholic institution. You have anybody going around saying, is Notre Dame relevant today because we don't have, not focused on Catholicism, or or the Catholic tradition. No, when you go to Notre Dame, you're going to learn about the history of Notre Dame. The president of Notre Dame is going to be a priest, okay? The very first president was a priest. But you got students at Notre Dame who are not Catholic. You got students at Notre Dame who are not white. I mean, you got students who are from all over the world. They're not talking about their relevancy. A degree at Notre Dame, an undergraduate degree, you take English there, same English course you can take here at Delaware State. No difference. So that question that people put out there is not a, in my mind, it's perceptions that people have about our institutions that is not fair, because we have quality here at this institution. We have quality students here. We have quality students who are doing great things. Our students, when they transition from this institution, they can go anywhere in the world, anywhere, and attain a job because they're ready and they're prepared. And that's what we're about here. This is a university. A university is proud of the fact that we started out in the very beginning as an institution that was designed for African American students because the other schools said, no, we couldn't go there. Now we're an institution that's diverse. We're an institution that's providing educational opportunities for people literally from all over the world. We have students here from China. We have students here from Korea. We have students here from Africa. We have students here literally down here in West Africa. We're going to take a group of students to Ghana here in the summer. So students are here literally all over the world trying to attain that magic degree, because that degree is going to improve the quality of your life. And that's what it's going to do.
You talk about students from Africa and China being here. So you have partnerships with other countries?
Yes, we have about 29 different partnerships with different countries around the world. The largest group here of students who are from a different part of this country. We have really done a really focused effort in China. When I started as president at the university, we had about 15 students from China. Today we have over 200 students from China. We have 20 partnerships, 20 relations with 20 different universities in China. We actually have degrees that we offer in China. We have an MBA program in Vietnam that we offer, where our faculty members go over to Vietnam and teach the courses. We have 200 Chinese students that's taking a Delaware State academic program in accounting in Ningbo, China, where we send our faculty members over there. We have students who come, we send our students to China to study with the faculty members at these universities that we have identified. And you said, why? Why do you go to China? Well, as a university, it's your responsibility to make sure your students are prepared and ready and prepared to deal with anything. And you want to be competitive. You know, you ask yourself as an institution, your major focus is to be relevant, to be responsive, and to be competitive. And in order for our students to be competitive, they need to know the competition. And China is going to be the competition. Yes. And the way we want our students to have that exposure. So once you get that exposure, and once you travel over there, you come back a different person. You come back with a world view instead of a Delaware view or a United States view. But when you get that world view, that makes you a complete person in a very different way, and that's what we're all about.
I definitely agree with you. I did a study abroad and I traveled to London, so I strongly support programs like that. You mentioned so many things. I'm sure you have probably many more goals ahead, but 4 years in, where do you see yourself, or where do you see the university in the next, I guess, 4 years?
Well, I want you to come back in 4 years, and I want you won't recognize this place.
Okay.
You won't recognize it. This university, in terms of the infrastructure, we're in the process of completing our 20-year master plan. Included in that plan is a university that's going to be a little bit more greener. So it will be a different campus. We'll still have strong students here. We'll probably have more international students here. We'll have more adult students in some of our extended programs that we have in Wilmington and Georgetown. But this campus will still be residential, where an 18-year-old can come and start their college experience.
Okay, well, we definitely look forward to those days, and thanks again for meeting with us.
All right, thank you.
Graduation at Delaware State is Sunday, May 11th. The commencement speaker this year is Charles Ogletree, the noted civil rights attorney. That would seem like an appropriate choice for Dell State since the 60th anniversary of the noted Brown versus Board of Education ruling was released around the middle of May in 1954.
Coming up on First Extra, the cost of a college education is always front and center at Delaware Technical and Community College, and at Wilmington University, the focus is on education for returning veterans and their families.
Wesley College in Dover has revamped its 20-year-old core curriculum. The private liberal arts school now allows students to develop applicable skills at each level of their four-year education.
I think Wesley is at a very exciting time. I do.
Dr. Patricia Dwyer is Vice President of Academic Affairs at Wesley College in Dover. She's optimistic about the school's new core curriculum that's helping to differentiate this private liberal arts school from other Delaware colleges and universities. This year's incoming freshmen will be the first class to experience the new hands-on approach to learning.
Wesley has been innovative, has really thought about what students need in the 21st century, has tried to design a curriculum that is engaging and active and one that really helps them develop skills over time.
The 2.5-year process to revise the curriculum required a lot of research and cooperation by the faculty and administration. Political science professor Dr. Cynthia Newton says they wanted to offer students a liberal arts foundation that will make them better employees, regardless of the career path they pursue.
The studies are certainly out there of what employers look for in, and they want, certainly they say that they can teach you, you the employee, any skill. We can teach you the job. What we can't teach you is all the other things that come with a liberal arts education. How to communicate, how to write, how to budget your time, how to think more broadly. That's not something the employer can or has any desire to teach.
It's those types of liberal arts skills, Dr. Jeffrey Gibson says, that will not only help students in their careers, but also help them navigate through life.
It moves beyond what they'll be doing from 9 to 5 to their entire lives as parents, as citizens, as members of the community.
The English professor believes the new curriculum gives students the tools to be flexible in our diverse society.
That flexibility to think very openly about disparate subjects and topics and ideas. It also helps prepare them for a life in which they may not only change their jobs more than once, which is different today than it once was, but they may change entire career fields.
Freshman Edilberto Escobar is taking advantage of a piloted version of the program. The first-generation college student credits the new approach with helping him choose a new focus.
I came to Wesley College as a nursing major, but I couldn't see myself doing this in the long run. I wanted an actual career, and I took a business class as an elective, and I kind of fell in love with that. And I just decided to run with that because in the long run, I wanted to do something that I could wake up every morning to doing.
At a time when liberal arts programs seem to be taking a backseat to STEM, media arts major Kevin Johnson says the new curriculum has expanded his view.
The class is opened my eyes to keep asking why, keep asking, keep trying to figure things out for what they are. Don't just take things at face value.
Dr. Dwyer says the new classes are just the beginning as the school revolutionizes its approach to education.
We aspire to be the best liberal arts college in Delaware and in this region, and we will continue to work to do that.
Wesley's science and math faculty were at the forefront of the changes and were eager to implement new approaches within the core curriculum. One other note, it'll be a busy Mother's Day weekend in Dover this year. Graduation for Wesley is set for May 10th. That's the day before the Dell State graduation ceremonies.
There is a change coming next fall to the leadership at Delaware Technical and Community College. Longtime school leader Dr. Orlando George is stepping down. But that doesn't change the focus of the school. With college costs continuing to rise, Delawareans know the value of the SEED program and other cost-saving perks at the school. For our next segment on this First Extra, we speak with Deltek Executive Vice President Dr. Mark Brainerd. So obviously, as the economy has been struggling in, I guess, 5-6 years going now, college costs are soaring. Do those kind of combination of factors make Delaware Tech a very attractive place for students? Sort of, you've found yourself in a sweet spot here?
We think so, and Delaware families are quickly figuring that out. Obviously, with the downturn in the economy, some college saving plans have been hit a little bit. You have families that have a member or two who are either unemployed or underemployed. So you've got parents and students looking for a place to continue their education, and Delaware Tech provides a whole menu of options for them. Number one, the SEED scholarship program that was implemented a few years back. If you're a Delaware high school graduate and you've worked hard, you've stayed out of trouble, and you've brought some solid grades, you get a free college education, and then you can move on and utilize one of our connected degree programs to go into a 4-year program and enter as a junior. So our associate degree programs for high school students offer a tremendous benefit, and a lot of Delaware families have figured that out. In fact, when you look at the average age of a typical community college student, before SEED it was around 27 or 28 years old. Now it's around 26 because we've had an increase in some of those traditional aged college students coming here. So it's been a benefit, and we're very proud of that.
And along with the downturn, a lot of focus has been on creating jobs statewide, and a lot of the focus in those job areas has been STEM, science, technology, mathematics. Has Delaware Tech sort of been able to capitalize on that push too?
Yes, the Governor's STEM Council, we've really worked in lockstep with that council to try to develop programs, whether there are camp programs at the early ages, or some of our engineering and technology programs in the associate degree area. We've really tried to work in lockstep with the Governor's STEM Council. But that connecting people with jobs is our mission. The community college, Delaware Tech, was founded 47 years ago for the sole purpose of supporting local business and industry to meet the local workforce needs. So all of our programs, whether it's one of the 86 associate degree programs or any of our certificate programs, are really geared toward providing a workforce for local businesses and providing high quality employees with the skills that businesses need.
Has there been other specific areas, career paths that you've seen an increase in interest in, a growth in students?
Well, clearly nursing and allied health is where the primary focus has been. You might already know this, but back in 2002, when there was a critical nursing shortage, the state very much supported the expansion of our nursing program, and we practically doubled that. We did double that since 2002. So nursing and allied health are clearly very, very strong programs. But within the last couple of years, the college has developed a new energy management program because there's going to be a need out over the horizon for workers in that area. We've expanded the aviation program at Georgetown, which is a statewide program that supports the aviation industry in Delaware. It's pretty significant statewide. Last year we were able to double the size of our paramedic program. Again, that's a statewide program that is located at the Terry campus in Kent County, but supports all 3 counties. And there's not only an existing critical need for EMTs, but there's going to be a continued need for that into the future. So allied health and nursing continue to be the primary focus, but there are other areas for opportunity, and we've tried to respond to that as well.
You mentioned the aviation program and the growth of that with the addition of the power plant program, sort of done with state funding and some private funding from companies who need workers in that area. Is that sort of indicative of the future of developing programs in cooperation with private firms?
In fact, that program not only got support from private industry and local county governments and DIDO, just the U.S. delegation, congressional delegation from Delaware supported that. So an awful lot of partners came together and helped us not only launch the program a number of years ago, but expand it last year into the power plant area. So partnerships are critical.
The job market tough out there, getting a little bit better statewide with the unemployment rate falling ever so slowly. What is the job prospects for Deltek grads? Have they been able to find work?
Our placement report, even for last year's graduate, is very, very strong. And not only do our graduates leave Delaware Tech and go to work, 40% of them go into the health industry. And there's another 20% that goes into private business and then government and education and things like that. But the vast majority, over 90%, not only go to work, but they also continue their studies at a local four-year institution. Again, that speaks to the strength of our connected programs with those other colleges and universities. So there's no doubt the economy's been rough on an awful lot of Delawareans, but we're still finding that placement for our graduates, whether it's in nursing, allied health, criminal justice, the paramedic program, obviously power plant. Those culinary arts remains a very, very strong program for placement. I think it was 100% placement last year. So for these specific programs, we're finding it remains strong.
And then finally, what does the future look like for Deltek?
It's just a very, very exciting place to be, because no matter what happens in the economy, no matter what happens in the business field, we continue to look at not only what we need to provide now, but what we need to provide next year and out over the horizon over the next 5 years. So it's an exciting place to be, and things never stay the same. They're constantly changing, and that's a good thing. It means that we remain in touch with the local business community, and we're providing programs that our students need to get a job when they finish their time here. And as I said before, most of them not only go to work, but they also continue for that four-year degree as well.
All right, Dr. Mark Brainerd, Executive Vice President at Delaware Tech. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
There is another perk to Deltek for anyone over the age of 60. Just like other Delaware higher ed institutions, most classes are free. You just need to pay for the cost of books. And if you want to play Deltek trivia, then you can say the Terry campus in Sussex County was named after Governor Charles Terry, who signed into law the creation of Deltek.
The last story in our first extra on higher education takes us to Wilmington University. The school has helped thousands of veterans work toward college degrees and transition back to civilian life, earning Wilmington University a spot on the 2014 Military Friendly Schools list. Wilmington University is Ashley Caverly's alma mater and will soon be her husband's too. James is a staff sergeant in the Air Force.
The cutbacks of the military and the size reduction were come into play, and he wanted to go to school. Say hi, Daddy.
Ashley and son Liam video chat with James whenever they can. Currently in Kuwait, James wasn't going to let his deployment keep him from working towards a bachelor's degree in political science.
There's a lot of questions whether or not I will be part of the DoD in a few years. So with them moving in the direction that they're moving in, I have to have backups for the direction that I want for my family.
I immediately just thought, you're deployed. How are you going to take classes? And I thought Wilmington University would be the best suit to be able to take online classes.
Depending upon the course of study you want to follow. Some of our classes are completely online.
With Ashley coordinating things for him stateside, James says Wilmington University offers the kind of flexibility that military service members need.
we travel a lot, and we move around quite a bit. So with online classes, it allows me to do things on my own time, do assignments on my own time.
That convenience has been a draw for thousands of other veterans, prompting WILMU to bring military affairs coordinators on board about 5 years ago.
Our military comes into a place that has people here, they understand military life, they can speak the language. This way, they have a way to navigate, and a person that actually helps them to plan the route.
James says the military affairs coordinators make things really easy for him and his wife.
They played a huge part in getting us ready, or getting me ready for class. They were flexible with working with my wife, as I'm not able to call home and use anything outside of Skype and FaceTime.
Allowing James to get a head start for when he transitions from the military to civilian life.
Wilmington University says of its 18,000 students, 2,800 are considered military, which encompasses active duty, veterans, and family members. That number reflects a 15% increase over the last 2 years.
The next first is on Friday. Our topics include state aid to Delaware cities for redevelopment. And we have a Delaware Today partner story. It has an equestrian theme.
And don't forget, you can find Delaware stories on newsworks.org. Our first shows are at WHYY.org/first. That is our higher education edition of First Extra. For Nichelle Polston and Shirley Min, I'm Mark Eichman. Have a good week. We'll see you Friday.